don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning big, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, welcome back to the Officer Tatum Show. I got a lot to talk about. While I'm waiting for you guys to get in here, I want to tell you guys that we're hiring at the Officer Tatum. So all you got to do is look at the sheet here, click on the application, fill it out. It's very thorough. You got to pass a background check. But here's a lot of opportunities. I'm trying to provide as many opportunities as I can to conservatives. Ad sales manager, engineer, which we already found a person for that position, but I still want people to apply so we can have a depth chart. Marketing director, we still need that field. Sales representative for Pure Trust Apparel, which is my print company. Also, we have a show director, which we already hired for that, but you can still put in your application. Video editor, we always need editors because I'm running Nick dry over here. He's in tears, actually, while I'm saying this. And then warehouse temp worker. So if you want to be a temp worker, you can get an opportunity to work here in the warehouse. And if you do well, you can be full-time. So if you want to have a job with a conservative organization and not have to worry about the lunacy of these leftist nut jobs, you can apply. All you got to do is go to theofficertatum.com, push careers, and apply today. All right. Let's talk about it real quick. Your girl, Kamala Harris, she got off her knees and came on the show. Not my show, but she went on somebody else's show. And it was a catastrophe. Not just somebody's show. She's gone on a tour for her new book. Who will read her book about what? And let me tell y'all a little secret. Most people have ghostwriters. It's not really Kamala Harris really sitting down and really thinking this through and writing a book and giving her emotions. They have a ghostwriter that write their entire book. Many of these people probably have never even read the book. So she's going out here to make some money, right? And it gets worse and worse every time she talks. Now, the most embarrassing thing I have seen on the internet so far, and the biggest hypocritical statement that I've ever seen from Kamala Knee-Pad Harris, is this very thing she's about to say. How do you still speak in circles and with word salads after what you've been through, Kamala? Roll the clip.
If his reaction to that, since this part of the book has come out, if you've had any reflection on that, or I guess I'd ask you to just elaborate on that a little bit. It's hard to hear. Yeah. With you running as, you're the first woman elected vice president. You're a black woman and a South Asian woman elected to that high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No. That's not what I said. That he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for president of the United States, against someone like Donald Trump who knows no floor, to be a black woman running for president of the United States and as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk.
Hello.
No matter.
I can't believe these people. Like, is nobody coaching her? Like, does she not go over this before she get on TV? Rachel Bulldagger Maddow got her on there and said it's hurtful that he couldn't do it because he was gay. She gets on and say, that's not what I said. Pretty much he couldn't do it because he was gay. Like, what you saying? You just said it'll be a risk for a gay man to be on your campaign. What are you saying? Let her finish.
how, you know, I've been an advocate and an ally of the LGBT community my entire life. So it wasn't about, yeah, right. So it wasn't about any prejudice on my part, but
that
we had such a short period of time. And the stakes were so high. I think Pete is a phenomenal public servant. And I think America is and would be ready for that. But when I had to make that decision with 2 weeks to go, you know, and maybe I was being too cautious, you know, I'll let our friends, we should all talk about that. Maybe I was. But that's the decision I made, and I, as with everything else in the book, I'm being very candid about that.
Yeah.
With a great deal of sadness about also the fact that it might have been a risk.
Well, you consider.
What does the man with another man going through the back door of his house every night gotta do with whether you are a good candidate or not? I never understand these virtue signaling leftists. They say one thing out of this mouth and then they live a different lifestyle. Why are you saying that it don't matter that he, you know what I'm saying, that you know, he got people driving down the wrong way street at midnight? You say you don't care, but then you just explain that it wasn't worth the risk to put him out there like that because you don't stand by what he does. You claim you don't think America accepts that. Quit lying. You just thought he wasn't a good candidate. And you definitely wasn't a good candidate. It don't matter if you had somebody else on your ticket. You wasn't gonna win. I almost said Jesus, but you're gonna always win with Jesus. But Jesus wouldn't be on your ticket anyway, because you probably going to hell. But anyway, let's get on The View. Kamala Harris on The View. Let's see the other lies she was spewing. Roll it.
If you have to pin it down to one thing, what was the primary reason, do you think, that you lost?
Because you suck.
There are many factors, I think, that played into the outcome of that election. But I think probably one of the biggest in my mind is we just didn't have enough time.
You didn't have enough
time. We didn't have enough time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you didn't.
And, you know, I mean, one of the reasons I wrote the book is this is unprecedented. Think about this.
Yeah.
That there's a race for president of the United States. The current sitting president is running for re-election. 3.5 months from the election, he decides not to run. The sitting vice president then takes the mantle, running against a former president of the United States who had been running for 10 years.
Excuses.
With 107 days until the election.
Excuses.
And by the way, another piece of what is unprecedented and a bit historical about that race, it is the closest presidential race in the 21st century in terms of the outcome.
Wow. You know, say that again.
Hold on. Real quick. I'm going to be quick. I know y'all want me to be quick. Ma'am, when Joe Biden was running, you were his running mate. You act like Joe Biden was running for president and you weren't even associated. He ran, they cheated, he won. You were on that ticket. He was the president, he was running again, and you were still on the ticket. That's like J.D. Vance saying, I didn't have enough time. If Donald Trump was running for office, J.D. Vance has been with him when he won this election. Let's say Donald Trump's running for office again, which he can't, which I wish he could because I still vote for him again. And somehow he dropped out and J.D. Vance took the mantle. He wouldn't lose a step because these two people were a part of the administration together. He would just pick up where Trump left off at. Ma'am, you was trash. You got on TV and you was trash. That's why. Roll the clip.
To say over and over again, he's got a mandate.
And that's part of why I wrote this book. Because history will talk about this race. It is part of American history. And it was important to me that when history is written, that my voice be present about what that experience is.
Were there glaring warning signs that when there's only two options to vote on that you missed going into Election Day?
I write about it, as you all know, in the book, and I know that's probably the first chapter you read is my chapter on The View.
Pimping that book. She out here pimping.
But it really,
Maybe the other word.
The book is about.
She ain't pimping. She doing the opposite of a pimp. You know who the pimp? Okay, she doing that one. She not the pimp. Y'all know what I'm saying. God, I love you too. Roll the clip.
A reflection, and that day in that interview, for me, really was symbolic of the issue. It did not create the issue, but it was symbolic of the issue, which is that I'm a loyal person. And I didn't fully appreciate how much people wanted to know there was a difference between me and President Biden. I thought it was obvious. And I didn't want to offer a difference in a way that would be received or suggested to be a criticism. And in the campaign, full time, I was pointing out the differences.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
My theory of the case was we need to bring costs down. We're going to extend the child tax credit.
You can't jump past that. Hold on 1 second. Just a few seconds. Give me 3 seconds. Give me 30 seconds. Give me a minute. 1 minute. Ma'am, you just told the world. This is why these people suck. You just told the world that your loyalty was to securing the reputation of Joe Biden and not the American people. You mindless woman. You just said, well, I'm loyal and I didn't want it to look like it was a difference between. You don't matter what it looked like, fool. The American people want to know that there's a difference. But you loyal to keeping his reputation and you're lying to the people to do that. That's why you lost. Roll the clip.
We're going to have Medicare cover home health care for people, including people in the sandwich generation who are raising young children and taking care of their parents. It was about we're going to take on price gouging, bringing down costs. And I thought I was making the point. And I realize now that I didn't fully appreciate how much of an issue it was.
Yeah, that President Biden was deeply unpopular. I did realize that. And during your appearance, and you write about it, you say everything about my appearance on The View was going well until it wasn't. And if you recall, you were here 28 days before the election. And I asked you if there was anything you would have done differently than President Biden during the past 4 years. And you said, quote, there is not a thing that comes to mind, end quote. You write you had no idea, you just pulled the pin on a hand grenade. In the moment, I knew. The Trump campaign weaponized your answer against you, my question. And some, including James Carville and Jake Tapper, point to that answer as a turning point in your candidacy. Do you think that moment tipped the election?
No.
Good, because Sonny doesn't want to take the blame.
There's kind of a confessional happening here. No. Exactly.
So is that the strategy for Democrats going forward, fighting back more in the mode of Trump, going into the gutter? What is the strategy for Democrats fighting forward?
None.
I think there's some work to be done, which includes one of the things that I think the 24 election made very clear is the American people want their immediate needs met. And, we paid a lot of good attention and time on issues like the infrastructure bill. If we had done it differently, and I think we should have considered doing it differently, we would have instead, in the Build Back Better bill, put the family plan before we did that. And so we would have done affordable childcare and paid leave and addressed some of the more immediate needs of people. So going forward, I think that has to be an imperative. We will have the plan for what needs to happen in the long term because those are the most intractable issues, but we need to meet the immediate needs of the people. Second, I'd say, look, I'm kind of I'm a bit done with the punditry around everybody looking for a messiah, the savior of the Democratic Party. There are so many superstars in the party.
That's true.
And
No, it's
we're
not.
doing very, very good work. And it is important, I think, that we see that instead of having these endless conversations about who is the one, understand there are many. And similarly with the issues. What is the one message that Democrats need to have? There are many, but I would frame them in the context of the immediate needs of the people. And then, I guess my last point is this. You got to fight fire with fire.
Sis.
Will you run again? Will you run again?
Going forward,
Will you run again? You like to run again?
That's not in my immediate focus. I'm doing my book tour, and please everybody come out. I'm going to a lot of cities.
Spend money. I'm doing a fundraiser for my own pocketbook, so I'm not even talking about that. Just say no. I'm not interested in it right now. So I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. These people are so stupid to me. It's crazy. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, girl. Wow. Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow. That's deep, bro. No, nothing she said made no sense. We have a whole bunch of rock stars. Like who? Who do the Democrats have as a rock star? Pete Booty Snitch? Nobody's voting for that dude. Ain't nobody voting for a dude that's laying with another dude. How you gonna go to a world leader and you on the bottom? Charlie, forgive me. Let's keep it real. You go to a world leader and they pull up on you and you the one on the bottom of the stack. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody, bro. Ain't nobody respect you. You up under another man and you think you're going to be leading America. I am going to hold the line. But you let another man take you. Okay? Just stop. Stop it. That's crazy. Do what you want to do, bro, but you lose points when you doing that. And you all open with it. I got my boyfriend, 2 dudes kissing and stuff. Like, stop. Booty Snitch ain't popular whatsoever. Maybe Shapiro is a little more popular, but these guys are Donald Trump. Like when you go and watch Charlie Kirk's memorial service, you realize who should be running the country. Because if the Democrats had done a service like that, it'd be nothing but celebrating George Floyd, fentanyl Floyd. It'd be them talking about America's racist. They wouldn't have had Jesus nowhere in the conversation. I don't care if you don't like white people at all. Some of y'all black pastors are those people. You're probably going to go to hell if you don't change your mind. But at least you should be voting for Christians. Vote for the Christian people that lift up the name of Jesus at an event with the whole cabinet there. Okay, let's see this midnight goon endorse Mamdani. I think we got a clip of Kamala endorsing Mamdani. Let's put that out there for the world to see. Roll it.
The sort of talent spotter in the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
What do you think of him and his candidacy? And what do you think of mainline Democratic shyness and agitation about the prospect that he's going to win?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he's the Democratic nominee and he should be supported.
Do you endorse his candidacy?
I support the Democrat in the race, sure. But let me just say this. He's not the only star. I know that, he's in New York, and I know New Yorkers think they're the center of the world, and here we are in New York having this interview.
It is the biggest city in the country.
And I love New York, as the saying goes. I really do. But, there are people like Barbara Drummond in Mobile, Alabama, Helena Moreno in New Orleans. They're all running for mayor, too, and they are stars. So I hope that we don't so over-index on New York City that we lose sight of the stars throughout our country who are right now running for mayor and many other offices.
Okay, all right. Shut her up. Mamdani is running for mayor of the largest city in the country with the largest economy in the country. I believe that New York's economy is greater than LA's economy. It is the most consequential mayoral race. What are you talking about, you cackling fool? And then you endorsing who? All you Negroes out there. Pay attention to what this woman's saying. She's not endorsing a black man. This is how they play y'all. That's why black people,
I love me and I like the way God made me, but y'all be embarrassing me. This woman go out and y'all voted for a white man to be the president. They get her in there and she's not black. She got to be black and South Asian or whatever they be adding to it. She can't just be black. Y'all know she ain't just black. But then she go on and the first black female vice president have no connection to no black people, ain't putting no black people on to nothing. She's now the president. Who she picked? The whitest dude in American history. She could have picked a black man, but she didn't. She could have married a black man, but she didn't. But she wants y'all to be black, blackity black, and you should like me because I'm claiming half black. And now that a race is going on in New York City, she don't endorse the black man. She endorsed the communists. Y'all Negroes better straighten your act up and get your head out of your butt. Because a lot of y'all at that church praying to Lord Jesus every day and you voting for devils. And then you overlooking the man of God because color is his skin. But you want to pick the devil that's a black man. All right. Or a woman that ain't even. Now one of these politicians ever been real black. Barack Obama's half black and she half. They ain't never put a real black person in there, will they? That's what I thought. One more. And this is I almost said something, but I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, y'all. I can't say what just went to my mind. Lord, help remove that from my mind. I would never say that in public. I said it would have been funny though, but it wasn't right. Kamala Harris. This is the what they call it? This is the needle that broke the camel back. Is that the one? Oh, I'm talking about going through the eye of the needle, like the Bible say. It's harder for a rich man to get into heaven as the camel through the eye of the needle. But anyway, that's probably what straw that broke the camel back. Straw. I was looking for that. Straw. But I had another analogy that was crazy. And it had something to do with her past life. But let me get out away from that. All right. Roll the clip.
And right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant.
Speech on the lips.
We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump. And these titans of industry are not speaking up. And perhaps it is because his threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government to take out vengeance on his critics is something that they fear, and I get that. I understand why they do. We've seen the demonstration of it.
These people are going to go to hell for the evilness that they're perpetuating on God's green earth. They're evil. After Charlie has gotten assassinated, and for them to still continue to push the idea that Donald Trump is a dictator, they want him to get killed. They want more radical people to come out and say, we have to stop this now at all costs. They know that they're radicalizing people with this language, but they do it anyway. He's used the weight of the government to attack his political enemies. Not one of Donald Trump's enemies have gone to jail yet. What enemy is he getting? His vengeance is on illegal immigration? His vengeance is on crime in D.C.? His vengeance is on making sure we're profiting in geopolitical transactions? What is his enemy that he's getting revenge for? The American people? To make sure we're sustainable economically? These people just say stuff with no evidence. And this is why we have conflict and chaos going on. I want to get to Donald Trump at the UN. But before I get to Donald Trump at the UN, can I just say this real quick? Every day I get on here, I'm going to have to say something about conspiracy theorists. Can we just put some of this stuff to rest? And I'm going to put some of it to rest after I talk about Trump, but can y'all stop with the foolishness? I'm seeing people who are really good people saying this is a total fake scenario. That nobody shot Charlie.
I'm not saying that the FBI won't come out with additional information as it is made available to them. But when you don't have no evidence, can you just stop pushing it? Can you stop acting like it's true with no evidence? That is the most disingenuous thing a person can ever do, is act like something is true when you don't have evidence. If you're going to say somebody else shot Charlie, then where's your evidence that somebody else shot Charlie? You don't have any evidence. Where is the gunman? What caliber of bullet was found in Charlie's body? You don't know? You don't have the information? Where was the other shooter at? All these people that had video coverage. Why did there's no other evidence or no other existence of another person that pulled the trigger on Charlie Kirk. There's nobody looking this way or this way or this way. Everybody looked back at the shooter. There's a guy that came on. And I posted him on my Instagram that said he was physically there on the scene. He was looking at people's phones, and some people had images of the incident that was right up on Charlie that's not even public, because obviously they were smart enough and reasonable enough to not post it all over the internet. And he said it was clear from the video that the bullet came and lodged right into Charlie's neck, one shot in, no through and through. He was there. There's video. There's tons of people with evidence. If you don't have the evidence, say, I question the narrative, but to project that the narrative that you question is somehow true is asinine. All right, let's get to Donald Trump in this UN meeting. Do we have a clip of one of the UN leaders saying that they're going to identify Hamas or Palestine as a state? Do we have that clip?
Trump saying it or another person?
No, another person saying it. So let me address that real quick. The UN, these idiots, and I'm going to call these world leaders idiots, and they're cowards, and I want to call them something else, but I'm not. For you to be stupid enough and wussy enough to say, we're going to name Palestine as a state. What is that? Who's the president and leader of Palestine? Who? Hamas? Palestine, Gaza and the West Bank don't even have the same government system. So who's running this Palestinian state? Are you saying Gaza is its own Palestinian state? But you recognize Gaza, but not the West Bank. So you recognize Gaza. Who's leading Gaza? Who's the president of Gaza? Who do we negotiate with as the leader of Gaza? What economic system are we acting like exists in Gaza? If Gaza is its own nation, then they're committing war crimes. Are they not? Designate them as their own state and then charge them with war crimes and sanctions and all this. How can you still have hostages and nobody say anything? We want to recognize them as their own state. Well, then once you recognize them as their own state, they should be sanctioned immediately. And Israel should cut off supply. Shouldn't they? They're their own independent nation. Israel, take your supplies away. They have no refuge. You don't feed them. You don't send leaflets. You don't do nothing. That's not your obligation. They're recognized as their own state. So therefore, technically, they committed a terrorist attack against Israel. As a state crime, a state committed a terrorist attack against a nation against another nation. Stupid. Stupid. They're their own leader. Then they need to be, whoever running it should be charged with war crimes, because at this point they still have hostages from another country, and they've tortured and killed them. It's on the record. They killed them. It's on the record. They're starving them. They put it on TV. It's on the record. They're using their citizens as human shields. Somebody showed me a clip where they shot two people in the back of the head right in the middle of the town square. They're killing innocent people in their own country. Okay. Let's get to Trump and the UN real quick. And then I'm going to get to Jillian Michaels. And then I'm going to get to, I should have started with this. Maybe my live stream would be a little popular if I started with this. Andrew Kovic I'm gonna go with Trump though. Andrew Kovic came out and debunked a lot of myths that have been put out about Charlie Kirk, and we'll get to that here in a second. But I just want to play Donald Trump whooping the socks off of these people at the UN because they are cowards and they're wussies, and real men need to stand up and look them in the eye and call them what they are. Roll the clip.
As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving to Hamas and giving so much, because they've taken so much, they have taken so much. This could have been solved so long ago. But instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message: release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now.
What in the are we even talking about? Why would United Nations some leaders in the United Nations say that we're going to recognize them without demanding they release the hostages? I would understand if they said, once you release the hostages, we'll recognize you as an independent state. I will get that. But that's not what they're doing. Roll the clip.
About it. And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible mayor. And it's been so changed. So changed. Now they want to go to Sharia law. But you're in a different country. You can't do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained. What makes the world so beautiful is that each country is unique. But to stay this way, every sovereign nation must have the right to control their own borders. You have the right to control your borders. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
He don't care, bro. He don't care. Thank you, Trump. Roll it.
To protect our citizens, I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as forests. And you see this, and you see it happening right before your eyes. Let's put it this way. People don't like taking big loads of drugs in boats anymore. There aren't too many boats that are traveling on the seas by Venezuela. They tend not to want to travel very quickly anymore. And we've virtually stopped drugs coming into our country by sea. We call them the water drugs. They kill hundreds of thousands of people. I've also designated multiple savage drug cartels as far as foreign terrorist organizations, along with two bloodthirsty transnational gangs, probably the worst gangs anywhere in the world, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. Tren de Aragua is from Venezuela, by the way. Such organizations torture, maim, mutilate, and murder with impunity. They're the enemies of all humanity. And for this reason, we've recently begun using the supreme power of the United States military to destroy Venezuelan terrorists and trafficking networks led by Nicolas Maduro. To every terrorist thug smuggling poisonous drugs into the United States of America, please be warned that we will blow you out of existence. That's what we're doing. We have no choice. Can't let it happen. They're destroying. I believe we lost 300,000 people last year to drugs, 300,000. Fentanyl and other drugs. Each boat that we sink carries drugs that would kill more than 25,000 Americans. We will not let that happen.
That's it. Well, it was good, in my personal opinion, to see some of what Trump said. I didn't watch the whole thing because I didn't have time to do it this time. But I think it's good that we have a leader that's willing to stand up to others and tell the truth. These other countries are going to crap. If you got open borders, you're an idiot at this point. All that virtue signaling stuff, see, that's why when you see these people saying they're going to recognize Palestine as a state, it's a virtue signal. This is why y'all getting killed and why people are raping your citizens and doing Sharia law and all this old crazy stuff. The reason why this stuff is happening because y'all are punks. You guys are weak. You guys are cowards. We don't need cowards in a time like this. It's the same men that are saying Israel's committing genocide because you a wussy. You guys are soft wussies. You would never make it in any war type situation crying about people that are losing their lives in a war. I get it. You don't want people to die. I don't want people to die. But when it's game time, it's game time. What are we talking about? I get so sick of this weak world we live in. Man, when are y'all going to grow some balls and stand up for something? I'm so sick of weak men. That's why the world is crumbling. You got a bunch of wussies out here trying to, well, we shouldn't say that. We shouldn't do that. I don't think we should do that. We need to, they're killing innocent people. Well, tell them people over there, get them hostages out of them tunnels and give them back to their people. They asked you to get the hostages back to them, and y'all playing with their people. So they're going to keep blowing y'all up until you give them their hostages back. Y'all want to, I have every night I go to bed, I enjoy the repercussions that people are experiencing in Gaza for what they did on October the 7th. You celebrated. We saw you. You celebrated when you thought y'all were killing them Jews. You celebrated. Every video evidence that I saw was people cheering and celebrating the death of Jews on October the 7th. Now you getting your handed to you. And you still holding hostages. And you still won't give up your own government system that's causing you to be in this situation. You're reaping what you sow. And I'm going to say this to anybody that's watching. You play with Israel, you lose. That's it. And everybody should know that there is a deep, profound connection biblically between the Jewish people and the Christians. And we don't have to agree on the Jesus part because that which is relational to God is between God and them. And Jesus, we were called to follow him. Now, let me just make this very clear. Watch as I say this and mark my words. The people that are mocking Israel and lying about Israel and shaming Israel, their time will come where they will be destroyed. And destroyed may not be through the body. It may be through finances. It may be through popularity. It may be through sanity. They will be destroyed. And that's why you don't play around with what God said. Read your doggone Bible. God has made his own plans for Jewish people and the nation of Israel. That's between God and them, and you got to stay out of that. And when I say stay out of it, you shouldn't be trying to tell God who he should accept and who he shouldn't. Don't be out here trying to tell God who his chosen people are and who he ain't. No matter if you like it or not. Read your Bible. Genesis 12. Genesis 17. Amos 9:15. Read your word. The promise to Abraham. The obtaining of a nation never to be broken. The bringing the people from all nations back to Israel, never to be departed again. That's in Amos 9:15. I think it's 9:15 somewhere. Read your book. What did Paul say in Romans 11? Beware and I'm paraphrasing, that you Christians are pumping your chest up and acting some type of way against the Jewish people from which the word of God came, from which the law came, from which Jesus Christ came. He came down the lineage, down through Abraham, all the way down through David. Put some respect on their name. You don't got to agree with them. And because we were called to follow Jesus, God have a plan for them, which was prophesied, that eventually he's going to bring them back to the fold. And in that day, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. But y'all keep playing and acting like we replace the Jews. No, we don't replace the Jews. We're engrafted into the promise that they were also promised. But they're disobedient in a time like this, and God is going to bring them back to their senses. And that's what the Bible say. But I'm telling you, you watch. Just watch. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what it looked like. But when people start bashing Israel, I'm talking about liars. I'm not talking about people questioning. I'm not talking about people who are like, oh, you know, what's wrong with this? The government system ain't working. I'm talking about the people that believe that the state of Israel or the nation of Israel shouldn't exist and that they don't have exclusive rights to that land. You keep playing with the promise, you're going to fall apart. You're going to go bankrupt. You're going to fall apart. Just listen to the people that go super crazy about Israel. Look at how they act. Look at what they're willing to say and do. Interview. Look at how they spiral out of control. I don't know of a sane, emotionally stable person who hate Israel. I don't know of one. All right, let's go to Jillian Michaels real quick. Let's do Jillian Michaels first. So Jillian Michaels, probably with the same, frustration that I feel when it comes to this Jew thing. Because everybody just bring the Jews up every time. Not everybody, but the people who are nutty just bring the Jews up every time. So I guess this is a theology, or this is on the show, or Jillian Michaels is on the show with a few other women, which you can't find a female show that don't get crazy. Women are too emotional to be doing some of this stuff. They really should be at home with their families and be at home being a wife and a woman who shouldn't even be doing this stuff. Because what happens? They get emotional, they start catfighting. You see it on The View, you see it on Real Housewives, and that stuff could be staged on Real Housewives. And you finna see it in a minute. All that estrogen and that cat, it's finna get ugly. All right? And let me put this in perspective. So on the show, this conversation that Benjamin Netanyahu offered Charlie Kirk $150 million is still going on with no evidence. And allegedly, according to this tweet, that the rumor, it says, let me read it for you. It says the journalist behind the report accusing Benjamin Netanyahu of offering $150 million to Charlie Kirk is Max Blumenthal, a man who used to work for the Iran-backed newspaper Al Akhbar in Beirut and contribute to the Al Jazeera. Why is it that every time that we track down a lie, we end up finding people connected to Qatar or Iran behind it? Roll the clip.
Who used to work for the Iran-backed newspaper Al Akhbar.
Oh, he read it already.
Contributed to Al Jazeera.
He is, yeah.
Why is it every time we track down a lie, we end up finding people connected to Qatar or Iran?
There's no proof
it?
this ever happened.
So,
hold on, time out. That was just weird. I'm sorry, y'all that are watching this. We figuring it out on the go. That was weird because I didn't think that was the clip. For some reason, Patrick David didn't match this, and I thought it was two different clips. So I apologize, y'all. Here's where it really starts at, but it was the topic that they were talking about, which was what played. Roll the clip.
How does that debunk the fact that...
he just read it. Where's your proof that $150 million was offered from Bibi Netanyahu?
No, I'm referring...
Where is the proof?
Please do not get angry.
No, because I didn't want to cover this, and you guys insisted. And I
Because
told
that's what
you,
the
you cover this
marketplace is
shit,
talking
I'm going to
about.
rip you apart. Where is the proof?
We're not saying that
Bibi
it happened.
Netanyahu
We're really
offered
not
Charlie
saying that it
$150 million.
Jillian,
Okay, so we're not.
Okay,
so
what we're
conversely,
reporting on is
now
people
there is
in the marketplace, what they're saying. This is a discussion that's happening literally everywhere. We would be remiss if we didn't cover
It's
it
a
to
week
debunk it.
old, this conversation.
It's
over
I mean,
a
it's
week.
still pretty
That
prevalent.
is a week old.
It's still going on, Jillian.
Okay, well, nevertheless, where is the proof that actually
Jillian,
happened?
I just said, according to this guy's reporting, he was offered $150 million.
Okay,
that
wasn't it also corroborated by Candace?
It was corroborated by Candace, and not only that,
Candace.
by Nick.
And also
okay,
Max
okay,
Gates,
because that's listen. I like Candace. She has people from his own team have said he has not seen her in years.
And yet last year they were on tour together. Last year they were on tour together.
Wait,
So
no,
that
no.
debunked that
Wait, if you
instantly.
want
That
to talk about
completely
people on
debunked
his
that.
team,
time they've been on camera together was
Andrew, his
2023.
press
No, it was last year.
Hold on,
They have a
Andrew,
tour
that
person
guy
together.
was on
Okay,
so
everybody
let's
on
calm
his
down.
team
Let's just calm down
has
for a second.
subsequently said this is not true.
No, they
His
never.
pastor,
They actually.
Colvin,
they
Eric Balling, all of them are like, yeah.
Okay, Eric Bowling hasn't. Eric Bowling thought that he had 2 daughters. Okay, so I'm not going to.
Okay, Andrew Colvin. The narrative is not true.
Andrew said,
Charlie has a cordial relationship with Ackman. There's no black woman,
also,
no
he
intervention.
said,
Nothing like what Candace is suggesting.
That same Andrew said that
Okay.
Candace and Charlie remained friends. I just want to make
He's
sure.
saying this is not true.
But they were literally touring together last year.
Nothing like what Candace is suggesting. What does that have to do with
Wait,
their
what does
friendship?
that have to do with you? Just
What
said
does that have to do with their friendship? He's
Jillian,
saying
you're
what
so-
Candace is
I can't
suggesting.
engage with you if you don't
He is
calm
saying
down.
what Candace is suggesting is not true.
He's talking about her suggesting Israel killed him. We're talking
Right.
about
Yes.
100. Please do not conflate the two. Because
Okay,
they're completely
well,
different.
unilaterally across the board now, we've got multiple accusations that all pile up to the same exact.
No, I think it's the furries. It's the furries. I think
I
it's
can't
the furries.
stand that
A lot of
accent.
people.
Stop. I can't stand that accent. Oh my God, I cannot stand it. No, it's no. It's not no. I hate it, man. Some people probably I can't. Nick, I can't listen to it. Oh no! Like what? Like how do you fix your mouth to go no? Oh no! It's like no, N-O, no. How you get no? Gosh, please, I don't want to hear her talk. I don't know if I probably follow on social media. She's probably good, but that nerve will make me have a stroke. Roll the clip.
Don't know, and I don't look.
There's
for those who are
zero
saying
evidence to suggest none.
Okay, you're saying, guys, can we just
Even
stop for a
Dave
second?
Smith
This is ridiculous.
is like, this is absurd.
Like, this whole thing is ridiculous. There are two things being conflated right now. There are conspiracy theorists who
She's
think
the
Israel
dumbest
killed
woman on
Charlie
earth.
Kirk. They have yet to provide a shred of evidence proving that. Done. End
We're
of
not
story.
talking about that,
I am talking about something
Well,
entirely
you were talking
different.
about
no,
that.
we're not. Hold on.
Oh, you
Let
were
me
talking-
fucking thought. Okay, the real issue here is that before most people even knew that Charlie Kirk was dead, you have Netanyahu giving multiple interviews talking about how, using the moment for his own political
Using
purposes.
the moment for
like
his
the
own political purposes.
fool that he is.
Totally
Let me finish my
different
point.
than him killing Charlie Kirk.
Did I not
never
just
said that.
I literally
Okay, so
just
now we're just gonna make
let
a
me finish
sidebar
my
to-
point, Jillian, because none of us can finish the damn point without someone else jumping down your throat. I don't think that Israel killed him because there's no evidence of that. But I had a problem with Netanyahu exploiting an assassination in this country for his own political means and purposes. And lying about the nature of his relationship with Charlie Kirk. Because Charlie Kirk didn't like Netanyahu. Just like any warm-blooded American shouldn't. Netanyahu is a bad guy. And he wanted to make it seem like, no, we were all great. We were good. We had a great relationship. Little did we know behind the scenes,
I don't
there
know
was a
how
lot
every
of pressure
show
toward
ends up
Netanyahu.
being about how do we bash Israel. This is not for me. I am not interested in this.
Okay,
I love
I
you
know.
guys.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Let's be good.
I
Let's
have
be good about
zero
precious
interest
Israel. Let the
in
country
fucking
committing a
every
genocide.
show.
Yeah.
Country committing a
I
genocide.
think you guys are great. I fundamentally disagree with you about like every show doing this.
So can we continue the
Yeah,
conversation?
let's.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Wow. Okay, guys. So again, to
Sir,
clarify,
I can't do it. Get off the camera. Get off the camera. Okay, guys, sir. I don't know how nobody watched this, but let me get to the point. You know, the people, the gaslighting that's going on around Israel, like for instance, no other nation is connected at all to any conspiracy about Charlie's death. Why? Why is it only the Jews? This is called anti-Semitism. Now, not every criticism of the Jews is anti-Semitic. And I think Jewish people and others who advocate need to stop making everything about that, because y'all losing support when you bashing people, call them anti-Semites for just little stuff that they do. But this is anti-Semitic. This is the bad mind worm that people got in their brain, that everything leads to Jews. When Charlie first got shot, there was no connection whatsoever in my mind about that a foreign government, our biggest ally, whom Charlie has spent the majority of his life advocating for. There's 100 hours of sure Zionist content from Charlie Kirk that can never be deleted from the internet, that they will somehow find a way to get to America and coordinate an effort outside of our intelligence agencies to somehow kill Charlie Kirk. And then they didn't kill any of these other anti-Semites that's out there, but the Charlie Kirk that secretly was turning on Israel, secretly. Because not publicly, he wasn't really saying nothing different than what a lot of people believe, and that's questioning certain things that they find reprehensible. But she get on there and they go, this $150 million. Well, let's put that to bed real quick. Well, in my next clip, I'm going to put it to bed. Because Andrew Kovic, which was probably Charlie's number one guy, one of the closest people, executive producer. I know Andrew and I know them. He used to be Charlie Kirk's like manager. And so they've been like this for a long time. And Andrew came out on Clark's podcast and debunked all of this stuff. Charlie Kirk didn't get paid or offered $150 million. If he did, I'm sure Andrew would have known about it. And I'm sure if Andrew knew, Erica knew. And if Erica knew, Andrew probably knew. He would have told somebody that he got offered $150 million. His closest people would have known. Nobody is saying that even exists. Somebody made that up because they got to connect the Jews to something. And then you cannot gaslight us into saying you add Jews to everything, but I'm not saying that they did it. Then why are you bringing them up? Why are you bringing up Jews if you don't think they had nothing to do with this? That to me tells me how anti-Semitic you are. Charlie's over here dead. You got a killer on the loose. And y'all over here talking about the Jews. But you saying, I don't believe Jews had nothing to do with it. But why are you over here talking about that when we should be focused on this? Because you want it to be about the Jews. You want them to kill Charlie. So you can say, see? Just like that ignorant woman, Anna Conspiracy. If I ever debated her, she would cry in the debate. I will just dog her in the debate. I will not give up. I will be relentless. She's such a fool. And they committed genocide. So to Israel, they're committing genocide. You stupid enough to say, I don't believe they killed Charlie because there's no evidence. But you believe there's a genocide with no evidence. All right, let Andrew, who was Charlie's closest friend, closer than any of us, I would say most people, other than his wife, I would think that Andrew may be even closer than his wife because he knew her. He knew Charlie before he had a wife. Nick said it was his work wife. Too soon? All right, roll the clip.
Couple things that it's worth clarifying. You know, and you asked me this earlier, so let me make sure I'd say it. Charlie's position on Israel was very clear. I like them more than I like Hamas. I just wish I was free to criticize Israel and not be labeled an anti-Semite, because I can criticize my own government and not be called anti-American.
Right.
But why do I have more freedom to do, that and not criticize, a foreign government? And he was really upset that there was this sort of clampdown on the freedom of expression, the freedom of ideas, free speech when it came to a foreign government. And I will say this, he felt like he had earned the right as a friend of the Jewish people over the years and all of the things that he had done. He felt like his bona fides in that respect were unassailable and that he should have the freedom to say, hey, it's time to end the war. Hey, it's time to stop.
Okay, let me just speak to this real quick because I want to put this in perspective because there's more that he's going to talk about. This is where youth come into play. And Charlie needed a true mentor And I'm not saying nothing about the people that mentored him. I think he needed a mentor in this area because Charlie was doing the right thing. Charlie was acting in good faith, but the pressure of people who are stupid begin to get to him. If you're criticizing Israel and people are going crazy on you, some of them are stupid, and wisdom tells you that some of them need a better perspective. Let me give you an example. The reason why you can criticize America and not be anti-America is because the other side hate America. So our criticisms of America is in love. It's not in hate. And it's clear. The reason why we call Ilhan Omar anti-American because they criticize America is because they're not criticizing America. They hate America and they want America to be destroyed. So technically, if Charlie thought it through in this perspective, is that you will be called anti-American if you criticize America, if you're criticizing America in poor faith. But because we're not criticizing America in poor faith, we're not called haters of America. Now, when it comes to Israel, understanding the contextual reality, they don't make it right, but understanding why some people are offended is because there's a reality that occurred in the only Jewish state that existed that makes people feel afraid of completely losing it again like they did in the Holocaust. Because a little bit of, are they interested in this? Oh, now they run the government. Oh, now they do this. Cause people to become extinct. And I think people are hyper vigilant. I don't think it's right necessarily, but I think they become hyper vigilant. So when I say something, which it hasn't happened to me, but it probably will at some point, when I say something and Jewish people attack me, I understand that some of them are stupid. And then some of them are acting out of fear because of what has happened historically to Jewish people. So I will identify the stew heads and say, I don't care what they say about me, they can go screw themselves. But then the ones who are considered my friends that are concerned, I will have a conversation with them to put it in perspective on what I'm saying, what I'm trying to deliver, and how do you want to do this together, right? If you're saying that my message is not right, how would you like for me to convey this message? And good, honest people who are Jewish, who are hypersensitive, I think will come to a conclusion of understanding where you come from. But when you're young, you're 31 years old, and you have been loved and liked, and people have literally kissed every ground that you walked on in the conservative space, your whole 31 years, or at least the years that you've been at Turning Point, it's not easy to hear people starting to turn on you. And somebody should, in my opinion, I would have liked for somebody to be there for Charlie. I wish he would have reached out to me so I can give him some confidence and perspective and say, bro, look, you good, bro. These people will come and go. This is why these people are hypersensitive and these people are stupid. So let's differentiate between the stupid ones and the hypersensitive ones. And then at the end of the day, God got your back anyway. So if the hypersensitive ones want to not be around you, go tell them to F themselves. And it's the people, the kids that are in Turning Point USA, that want to turn on you because they disagree with what you're saying about Israel, they can screw themselves. Now, it's okay to disagree, but when they say, I'm going to turn on you, I don't want nothing to do with Turning Point USA, because they don't like what you said, you can't do nothing, Charlie. Don't worry about them, man. They bandwagon people. Give the next controversy, they're going to be on your side again. When they go out to campus and they don't have nobody that love them, nobody that care about them, nobody that protect them, nobody that's letting them have a voice, then they're going to come back to Turning Point. Oh, can I do this? So just chill, bro. Don't let it get to you. But nobody was there, I don't think, that could convince Charlie of that, what I'm saying. I wish he had called me. Would that change his life? No, because God already had a plan for him. But I did wish he would have called me, and I could have gave him some real perspective on this. Roll the clip.
The killing. But, when with Tucker, for example, yeah, I mean, we took some pushback. We lost some donors. And what's interesting is it wasn't necessarily Jewish donors, although there was, because that's a misconception about Turning Point's funding base, by the way, is, it's not a whole lot of Jewish donors. It's just not. There was always, I saw the comments online like, oh, the Jewish shekels or something it's all this gross stuff. It just wasn't true. And it isn't true. But we did lose, one in particular towards the end that was frustrating. There's this great clip when we were in Myrtle Beach and he got asked if, from somebody in the audience, if he was going to debate Candace or, disavow Tucker. And Charlie's answer I thought was amazing. I remember he came off stage. He's like, "Do you like that one?" And I was like,
He would always ask that for reassurance.
Yeah. He always loved like, "Did you see that? Did you really listen?
Yeah, do I look good? Was that a good clip? Do you think that'll go viral?"
Yeah. And I remember saying like, "Yeah, I thought it was amazing. It was morally so crystal clear." And he basically said, "I don't appreciate being morally blackmailed." And and every time people would say that to him, he would dig his heels in. It's like, well, maybe Tucker's going to give 2 speeches now at AmFest.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll invite so-and-so.
That was one thing, like Charlie and I relate to him so much, is that him and I both do that, where we don't like being told what to do.
Oh, I've noticed that before, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Andrew, I'm like, oh, there's so many things that we could talk about. How many times that Andrew and Charlie have had to put out fires for me that I've started. But like, yeah, when I'm told I can't do something, it's like, well, I'm going to do it even harder then. That's just my personality.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie is very much the same way.
I think that's the key. It's like Charlie was a friend of the Jewish people and a friend of Israel. Did he have opinions about the prosecution of the war, he thought their PR was abysmal, thought they were doing more harm than good in many ways for their own cause. So all of those things were true, and he was upset that he couldn't express those things freely without all of this pressure coming down on the organization. He has a lot of great Jewish friends and some people that maybe some not so good ones, right? But I think it's just a nuanced thing.
Was Charlie offered $150 million from Israel?
As far as I know, no.
I had never heard anything like that. Everyone I've asked has said the same thing.
And by the way, just for what it's worth, it doesn't matter the amount that would have been coming down. We would have said no.
And there's evidence that is true.
Turning Point Charlie would not accept foreign money.
Exactly.
We only took American money.
Yeah.
There was money sent to us, like practically in multiple instances where they're trying to cram it down our bank account. And we said no. We canceled like money wires and things.
No foreign money, and also no handouts from the government. During the pandemic, 100%. He refused to do mass layoffs that everybody else in the country was doing. Said no to the whatever that check was. What was that they were handing out? Stimulus check.
Yeah. The PPE loans, right? I always get PPP and PPE mixed up, but yeah.
But it was a good amount of money that at the time we could have used.
Yeah.
He put out a company statement saying, this was tempting for sure, but we're going to say no.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very principled in that way.
He was extremely principled, especially on foreign money. I remember moments we'd be at like an event, and some foreign people would come up and like demand a meeting or try and get a meeting with Charlie, and Charlie would look at me and go, "Deal with them, get rid of them." Like,
it's exactly the way Charlie sounds. So I know that's exactly what he said. But people are saying, you can't trust Andrew. He's now a part of the deep state or something stupid. I think that, personally, I just think that I wish that Charlie could have had some more people around him that could have helped him through this situation, because I know how I feel to want to double down when people say crazy stuff about you. And is it always the right thing to do? I don't know. Maybe not. But I knew he could have gotten past. If I would have sat down and talked to Charlie, I knew he had gotten past this moment of feeling frustrated, because that pressure is crazy. When I interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu, I was the first time in my career that I felt like, man, I'm so sick of this stuff. I don't even want to be a part. People are so stupid. What am I even doing here? I'm gonna go off and be a businessman and make $1 billion, and y'all never hear from me again. That's how a part of me felt with the crazy amount of backlash I got just for interviewing Benjamin Netanyahu. The crazy amount of backlash that I get just for saying I support Israel. When every major Christian that I respect supports Israel. Every pastor that I respect supports Israel. What are we even talking about? So I know the feeling, and his was doubly because he's now beholden to people because they're donating money. And you got to put things in perspective. Like, for instance, if I were going to do an event and I had a nonprofit and people that love Israel and they love the fact that I'm a Zionist and they feel like we're aligned with mission, and they go give me $1 million or so, and they committed to giving me $10 million over the next 10 years, and then I go get somebody who's an anti-Semite. Because of my friendship with them, I go give them a platform. And then they go and trash Jewish people and be anti-Zionist to the next generation of young people. Maybe, just maybe, I can expect that they're not going to like that. Now I got to make a decision to say, I can't really fool with you because you messing with the mission. I still like you as a friend, but if you're messing with the mission and you're messing with the money, you got your own platform. Not unless I want to lose these donors. And if I do want to lose them, then so what? I'm losing them. Here, come on the stage. Hey, raise your hand if you want to leave the organization because you don't like what I say. Okay, get them and get them and get them and get out of here. You got to make your decision on which one you do. I don't take money from nobody. Nobody's giving me anything. I'm self-made. There are no donors. I got $100 million budget going on over here. We grinding over here. And nothing against anybody else, but we trying to do it on our own. But if somebody were to give me money, if Benjamin Netanyahu called me on the phone, Brandon, I want to give you $150 million to help you build an organization. Come on. Is it legal? Send that check over here. But I'm going to accept it. But I'm not beholden to nothing. So you make sure when you send me that check, we're going to write a contract to say, but I will do this and this and this. If you do cut up, I'm going to criticize you. Do you still want to give me that money? No, you don't want to get the money? Well, thank you. I don't want to take your money. Somebody come to me and say, Brandon, I want you to build a coalition of young Zionists or something. They want to help fund it. I love that idea. Send me that money. But just know, in the clause, if you send me the money, I still got to be Tatum. Because if you don't let me be Tatum, this ain't going to work. And that, to me, that's the reality of how these things go on. And so I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not shocked whatsoever that donors wanted to abandon Turning Point because of that lunatic Tucker Carlson. Like, I was mad that Tucker was speaking because I didn't know Tucker was that crazy, right? So I'm like, he said he got questions about Israel. I never thought twice about it. Like, yo, we live in America, bro. Everybody don't have to agree. I don't agree with everything Charlie said, and Charlie probably didn't agree with everything I said. Nobody got to agree on everything. Who cares, man? We all doing it for the movement, right? In different angles. But then I heard his speech, because I didn't even talk about Israel in my speech. I was, but then like God sent me another way, and I didn't mention it. Then I went back and listened to Tucker's speech at AmFest. I said, whoa. Sass. I said, whoa. He couldn't get more anti-Semitic than anybody else. What he's saying is dangerous to young people. He's creating this false doubt in these young people's mind like a lunatic. Then I wasn't going to say nothing because I'm like, hey, man, he doing more good than bad to me. Just a little part of most of his speech was anti-Semitic. And then he goes on to interview that nun, and then that next thing you know, he's talking about he could give condolences to Osama bin Laden's family, and he don't know whether Hamas is a terrorist group. That fool done said a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm like, okay, if I was a donor, I would say, if I'm giving you millions of dollars, I don't want that guy on the stage. You can have him on a debate, but he is standing before these young people and infusing poison in their minds because he's a nut and he got an out against Israel somehow. I would be the same way. Like, I'm not getting, look, bro, I love you, I appreciate you, but this guy's going in the wrong direction, and that's not the direction I want to go in. There's a lot of other people that would love to fund the direction that y'all going in. I'm not participating. Would I really take the money for that one person? I don't know. I really don't know. I would have to look at the totality of circumstances. But I would be upset about it. I was upset about it. When I saw him speaking at the funeral, the memorial service, I was like, but it was Charlie's friend. So that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's his boy. That ain't mine. That's Charlie's memorial. That ain't mine. So I ain't the one that got nothing to say about it. I don't know the guy. I wasn't his friend. I don't know if they ride or die or not. But I definitely was taken aback, like, ugh. They got him speaking that Charlie thing? Ugh. After what he did to Ted Cruz, and then he wouldn't give any biblical references with that nun that he was talking to, but he shamed Ted Cruz like that? Ugh. But anyway, Nick over there panicking. All right, I think I'm done. I've said enough. I love you guys. I got to go smoke a cigar and relax for a minute. Y'all be good. We still doing it's on pre-order. We're still, if you want to get a shirt to support Charlie's family, 100% of the profit goes to his family. We raised a pretty good amount of money so far. I mean, right now we could probably give Erica a $500,000 check at this point. And my goal was to give her $1 million at America Fest and let her decide what she want to do with it. And that was collectively all of the people that follow me wanted to do that to support their family. I made the promise to God. God put it on my heart. I'm going to deliver on that promise to give whatever we raise. And then that's it. All right. I love you guys. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of